On this episode of the Ocean Cruisers podcast, myself and Hibbert will be having a chat with Laura and Ross from Sailing Holly Blue. Laura and Ross have been living on their boat full-time for 6 years now in Greece with their 2 kids. Over the past few years, they've been working on educating their kids whilst living off-grid and developed a system which can be utilised by any cruising family or remote working family with the help of the Minerva Virtual Academy, which is an online platform for educating children. We have a chat about that, as well as the general life of living on a small boat and raising a family, its glories and its challenges. The Odyssey Sailing Festival in the BVI 2025 will start on the 1st of April and the cabins are now available for sale. The Odyssey Sailing Festival is a week-long party on a fleet of incredible catamarans with a group of legendary skippers at the helms. We do regattas, beach parties, raft-ups and basically experience everything the cruising life has to offer. This is the first festival we will have done and the second time we will be hosting the festival in the BVI with Navigare. For the 2025 Odyssey Sailing Festival, the skippers are Dan and Kika, Keanu Eltzane, Dustin Reynolds, Glenn Shepherd, Lauren Landers, Erica and Warren, Raff and Sash, Eric the Viking, Holly Martin, Ian and Breeny and Laura Decker. If you'd like to book a cabin or a berth, visit theoceancruisers.com/odyssey for more information or email andy@theoceancruisers.com directly to book. But for now, enjoy the podcast with myself, Hibbert and Lauren Ross.
Have to re-record this. Yeah.
Do you know what? I have the exact opposite problem where I'm just loud all the time and it doesn't matter what happens. So Ross has a special mic that he can turn down afterwards.
Turn down the decibels. She's -6 to me.
I think the first ever podcast we did with Andy, our first podcast we ever did ever.
It was like 3 hours long.
And you could only hear me like literally the whole way through it. It's painful to listen to, but. Yeah, so it's really cool to have like a 4-way chat. It's really awesome.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's the first time I've ever done it. Is it? Or have we spoke to friends and done this?
We've spoke to friends, but like I just
not
like
formally,
bob in and just say hi
and
it's not like recorded, it's like after the fact. So
yeah,
this is my first time and I'm like, yeah, God help us.
Yeah, I think it's really cool though because it's like being at a dinner together, or
it's like at the end of the table.
Having a couple of drinks, and that's something we do quite often. So it's a social. I would get my wine, but Ross won't let me because apparently it makes me talk more. But I really wanted one as well. Anyway, so
you could set it up like a proper dinner. Like if you moved your camera further back and then got your food out and we did also, it would be like we're just out for a meal.
Yeah. That's what they used to do. Do you know mukbangs where you have like those, YouTube channels where people literally just eat their dinner and talk while they're eating?
I think mukbang. I think
it's
like where it's like channels where you eat and people will just watch you eat.
Yeah,
it's bizarre. Yeah, it's like really bizarre.
Internet's weird.
When I used to do bodybuilding prep, I watched so many mukbangs.
I understand because I'm on keto now. And I can't eat anything except, like boring, fatty, just nothing
carnivore of like fatty fast food all day. That's all she does.
I think it's called, in America, it's called Raising Cane's. And it's like this hypey new thing where it's like deep fried chicken, breaded, and people just like dip it in like this sauce and then just eat it.
Like cheese sauce.
I mean, I hate it. No, it's like this cocktail sauce.
Looks like heart disease. That's what it
looks it does.
Like the pink one.
Yeah,
they have got that in Greece, don't they?
Yeah. And then like I used to hate them. I was like, if it comes in my feed, I'm like, piss off. What is this? This is disgusting. And now I'm like, I watch them because I'm always hungry.
Yeah, and you tend to find when you're on like a lower calorie or keto or some style of eating like that, you like to watch things like for example, there's this really cool YouTube channel called Beard Meets Food, and he does massive food challenges.
Amazing! I know them.
Beard. And so when he does food challenge, he's Northern as well. Really, really nice guy. Really down to earth. He's got millions of followers and subscribers.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, he's so down to earth, and he's got a brilliant style, and he's never changed it because he doesn't need to. He's just
he quite often has like.
What does he
puts food
do?
in his
He
beard.
just puts
He-
food in his beard.
He does
No,
challenges,
He
doesn't
does
he?
food challenges, yeah. And
Oh.
I was in hospital for a little spell in Greece a couple of years ago, and for the whole, because the food was so bad.
You were
and
starving, weren't
I
you?
was on nil by mouth for like 3 days at one point,
Oh.
and I literally watched Beard Meets Food food challenges for days, and it kept me almost feeling I'm almost eating through vicariously through you, you know. It's quite funny, but yeah. But
So
yeah,
you're both quite similar in that aspect.
I think if you are like,
I don't do this.
if you like go into like starvation,
Mm.
well, it's not really starvation because keto is more of a lifestyle rather than just a diet. I have to do it for medical reasons.
Oh,
But,
okay. Yeah, for blood sugar regulation, that kind of thing.
No, I can't eat carbs.
Okay.
I don't know if I can talk about this because they'll fact
What
check
was
me.
CIA?
So after I
So
took
that
the
would be fine.
COVID vaccine, my digestive system was destroyed.
Okay.
My microbiome was
Oh, yeah, that's-
annihilated completely.
Mm,
My
mm.
asthma came back.
Wow.
My allergies came back, and my whole digestive system was completely like shut down. So I had to be hospitalized.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I went to the hospital quite a lot of times. I had to do like multiple tests and just to understand why, because I looked like I was pregnant. And when by mean pregnant, I'm like
Your
9
gut
months
was
pregnant.
your gut was inflamed. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
completely.
that's an autoimmune situation. Did you have an autoimmune condition as a result of that?
Diagnosed.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so
No,
I think I've developed something called I developed IBS in
Yeah.
general, and which I've
Mm.
never had before. I've developed SIBO, which is basically where your
Yeah.
good gut bacteria is completely non-existent. So
Mhm.
I had to like take 3 months of antibiotics to destroy all the bacteria in my body and then replenish it with
Yeah.
like a 4 months course of probiotics, prebiotics, like medical grade. You can only buy them with prescriptions. And I go on like binge eating fits where I'll just like eat whatever I want, but I regret it severely because like for days I'm in agony.
I can
I
I
see,
can
yeah.
definitely sympathize with you there because I have fibromyalgia, and one of the side effects of fibro is inflammatory bowel disorder. So
Yeah.
it's similarly, if I don't eat a certain way, take daily probiotics and keep my gut microbiome happy, mine's more stress related. So like if I go under a lot of stress, it compromises my biome, and I'm just like, it triggers all the other stuff that comes along with fibro. And it's frustrating because you want to be completely free when it comes to what you eat and how you eat. But actually, if anything, having to be a bit restrictive teaches you how the effect food actually does have on everyday people. Like, it kind of makes you healthier, but it makes you more aware and have to be more careful. But I tend to find, that wine is fine.
Tends to make me miserable because
Thank
I have
God.
a sweet tooth.
Well,
I
wine
know,
makes you
lots of,
miserable.
like
Same.
chocolate.
Hey,
Yeah.
but we
Red
should
wine makes
talk
you
after
amazing.
this. I know
Huh?
lots of
Red wine makes you amazing.
Makes me amazing.
Yeah. You are the best version of yourself when you're drunk on red wine.
That's what you say.
Yeah.
It's
I'm just-
incredible.
I'm,
It just becomes incredibly
what?
tolerant and nice.
Wine
patient.
is a relaxant. It makes us chilled, and
It
if
does.
we're chilled, that makes our guts happy because stress gives you bad gut microbiome. So a wine a day,
Laura's like
that's what I say.
brain is a bit like string theory, and she's always thinking all these different things, and she likes to tell me.
Mhm.
And it's like it's so chaotic. When you have a drink, you like a bit more like
Yeah, I can't
calms you
think
down.
straight.
guy, like
I
one
think
thing at a time.
I think we can relate because
know what I
have
mean?
my
It's a common
so
thing.
for me, I say
You're
like
like psychos.
my
That's what
brain
it sounds
doesn't
like.
shut up. Like my brain just does not shut up.
Yeah.
Do you
There's
have
like
coffee and-
scenarios. There's like I don't want to say voices, but there's like it's me
Sorry.
talking. You
I
know
know,
when you're
yeah,
like
yeah.
you're always talking and
yourself.
Yeah.
there's like you're thinking about multiple things at the
Constant
same
babble.
time, and there's like constant background noise.
I think this has turned into a mental
And
therapy
wine just kind
podcast at
of
this
chills
point.
that out. It is a bit,
A
isn't
bowels
it?
and mental
Well,
therapy contest.
We can caveat. We can caveat from there. So yeah. I mean, do you know what? Show notes going really
Let's keep on
well.
Yeah,
going
really
with
well.
it. Let's go deeper.
Wow.
It's probably a winner.
Catch up, yeah.
Chuck, tick.
was the
So
catch
we
up.
haven't.
How do we get
Ross,
to
how are your
IBS
bowels?
from there?
We haven't talked about Ross's bowels yet.
This is
We know
what
about your
happens
bowels, Laura's
when
bowels.
you get two
Regular.
women. Let me just
I
say,
have
this is what
regular
happens
bowels.
when you get two women on a podcast, all right? we like
Yeah.
but actually on the subject of diet, Ross has finally started the gym this week. Which
After
is
1
Good on
year.
you, mate.
yeah, he's had a year off. And literally, anything that he may have put on will be off in a week, and I'll be like, it's very annoyed as usual. But you're being
Man, I just joined in with the keto like 2 weeks ago. I was
Oh,
like,
just-
I've got 5 kilos on my arse. I don't need any more.
oh no, keto makes me
I've
angry.
started as well. Did some
I can't-
rowing yesterday. Might do a
We-
push up later. I don't know.
We've just had Laura's parents down for like 10 days.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've drunk an obscene amount of beer, like
Obscene.
probably like a whole year's worth in like 10 days.
But
So,
it was Josh's 13th birthday, so like, and but could probably tell you why we're not on the boat. So we're house sitting at the moment for a friend of ours
got
here in
cats.
Ireland. Yeah, got 2 cats to feed here, 2 cats to feed back at the boat, which is half an hour drive away.
So we're going backwards
A
and forwards.
kitten, a foster kitten upstairs because we're fostering kittens. now.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, it's so cute. I would go and get it, but
We've got our
yeah,
cat that joined the podcast now.
sorry. Yeah,
Our
yeah.
cat joined
What's
as
this
well.
one's name?
This one's called Poo Face.
It's
Yeah.
Poo face.
Yeah, when we found him
Oh.
in, he was in an Arabic restaurant and he was just in bad shape. He just was not looking great.
It's like a 3-month-old kitten would like literally poop on his face. So that's where the name came from.
He constantly seeks attention. So if we're sat anywhere, it's like, look how invasive this fucker is. What
Oh,
are you
it's
doing? We're doing a
gorgeous.
podcast, mate. Piss off.
No, animals, they just bring a whole new dimension to things, don't they? They're lush.
Yeah.
And I love
Yeah.
He's 10 years old now, so
Yeah, you know.
really.
Oh.
Oh.
yeah.
We seem to be growing in cats all the time. Like we've got this foster, we got Ronnie and Smidge back on the boat, and then we got the 2 down the way, and then
It's a disease.
yeah, but
You have to be careful.
I
Yeah,
think it's
while we're on the
amazing. I think
podcast-
cats
No,
are
it is.
incredible.
Yeah.
yeah, I do really want to mention because I wanted to just get this one in there about the Care for the Strays link.
Yeah, this is very nice
Yeah.
stuff.
So for anyone listening out there that doesn't know about it, we have a new link on our www.sailinghollyblue.com website, which is Care for the Strays, and it's a donations fundraising button, if you like, where you can donate to a pot, which every month, no matter which island we're on, we will donate to the local charity. And for example, we are near Lefkada at the moment, and we are raising funds for a TNR project. So we're getting
Nice.
10 cats done this month, hopefully. And the goal here is to trying to get the islands to a point where the cats are so healthy and happy, and at a good level of population, that people are visiting because the cats are healthy and
And
happy.
it does vary a lot. Like some
Yeah.
islands, they look
Yeah.
really healthy, and others they're like
Yeah, and you
death's
go,
door.
The
like,
ones in
you can
Poros
be-
look good. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of fatties here.
I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
be saying that, yeah, and so like for example, when you go to Meganissy, beautiful island, but so many sick and
Skinny
just
looking cats.
angry, skinny cats. It just look like, oh my gosh, this is heartbreaking, and it
Yeah.
affects your experience, doesn't it? Well, you guys know that because you've been
We
in.
noticed on Idra when we were there a few weeks ago,
was
month ago,
really-
whatever, like the cats were all like
Skinny,
looking
malnourished,
really rough.
Yeah,
which is really weird because Greece is one of the places where wherever you go, the cats are happy.
yeah,
And
you
like,
Just
they
too
live-
many
Depends
cats
where you
for the amount of restaurants, though.
Yeah,
That's
but
why you
that's
have to keep the
neutral.
population in order.
That's why TNRs are really good, which stands for trap.
Yeah, but
neuter
they won't
release.
live on the island.
Yeah. Well, the thing is,
They do them like
It's-
almost in the air, don't they?
they
Like a little
do.
mobile unit. or
Yeah, you-
something.
I
They don't
think-
take them away or anything like that.
the charity that we're working with is the Ark Animal Sanctuary, and they will hopefully be having more TNRs done in the future. But for now, there's like literally just Charlie, who's the organizer, doing it herself, and she's like self-funding because they don't get much government support. And the reason why some places are worse than others might be isolation. So, for example, Castos and Meganissy, they have a big problem because their islands are more isolated and smaller. But also they are primarily tourist driven. So in the summer, all the cats are happy as Larry because they're getting all the off chuck ups from the gyros and whatever.
Good life.
Like, all the goats that have been cooked up, and they're happy as Larry. But then the winter hits, everyone goes, and it gets cold, and they starve, and it's just
Yeah.
really sad.
It's really
So
sad.
Yeah, so we're doing our bit. Like, finally, we're now at a point where the channel's big enough, our reach is big enough that we can make a significant impact potentially. So we've got that going on.
It all came about with the kids as
Yeah,
well.
it's very cool.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, the
it's
kids.
something Josh is really passionate about.
Oh.
In a way, it was him that said we want to foster cats.
Oh yeah, the fostering
Oh,
kid.
that came from a kid. That's
Oh,
lovely.
that's so cute.
So
He's one of these people who somehow he doesn't want for much, but when he does want for something, somehow it happens. Like
things happen around him.
Yeah.
For example,
He
what
makes
is it called?
things
He
happen,
manifests.
He does. He really does.
Yeah.
But through pure like heart and soul, like this fostering thing. Just rewinding briefly, back to a few weeks ago, Ross was all set to do an Atlantic crossing. So that's where he should be right now.
Oh, yeah.
That's another story.
Yeah. So he was booked to do a delivery trip. It was going to be really exciting for him. First opportunity that he would have to do the crossing. And then we had some issues, a family situation popped up, which couldn't allow that to happen. And Ross needed to be there for his family. So we ended up sticking around. But the whole thing with Josh was he wanted to, while Ross was away, we were going to foster a kitten, help someone out and foster. So we all had something to love and something to, look after while Dad was away and to help out a local charity. And then he didn't go. So Josh was like, oh no, Daddy's not going. I can't foster, but yay, Daddy's staying kind of thing. And then we found a kitten on Castles Island and it didn't have anywhere to go.
Next minute, like, there's a third cat on the boat. How does this happen?
I was just like, huh?
Hang on.
You need to get your shipping order, mate. All these strays coming on board.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The cool thing is, this kitten, within a couple of days, I'd been on like our Instagram and everything talking about it, and another boat family who are coming over this way from Italy have adopted her. So she's got
that's amazing.
Yeah, and the family she's going to, they've got a son, and I don't think there's any other kids on board. So this little boy is going to have a little mate on the boat with him, so it's easy for us to all let
She's
go.
actually a really cool cat.
Oh, man, she's amazing. I could keep her.
We could almost swap her
for the other one that isn't.
Your least favourite one.
Smidge for her.
Smidge is actually quite funny. She is terrified of land.
She's terrified of everything.
So we found her you found her under a dustbin.
Yeah.
Cutting long story short. But she now will only go on a boat. So when we're in a marina or something, she'll go on boat to boat to boat.
Yeah.
And if a boat leaves, she can't get back.
Because she won't go on the
pontoon and walk 3 meters to the back of our boat and come on. She'll stay on that boat petrified.
I'd probably starve to death, even though she could just
and if you put her on dry land, she's like
flattens like a hedgehog.
Yeah, like
So cute.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
What happened to that cat on land? Bloody hell.
Yeah.
No.
We don't know, but we were told that she is a runt and that she was probably abandoned by her mum. She was like 5 weeks when we got her, so who knows?
She just wants to get away from her mum then, innit? She just wants to get on a boat and get away from a horrible mother.
She's worried she'll walk back into it.
People keep saying like, where's Smidge? Is she
It's
all
the
right?
same for some people, isn't it?
Yeah. What's that, sorry?
It's the same for some people. They just want to get a boat and get away from the mother.
Just want to be on their own. Just want to hide in a dark hole. That's what she does.
Friends.
So that's the cat thing. But we are thinking about I'm thinking about, because I sort of run the charitable side of things. Thinking about starting something up where we rehome kittens, because you wouldn't so much want to home a cat from land when they're older onto a boat, but
it's easier to get fosters for kittens.
Yeah, exactly. But boat fosters, or boat adopt people who live on boats that would love to have a boat cat, and would like to help out in some ways, to support the cats around here, and we could rehome kittens to boats. Cats make the perfect. I mean, you guys, you've got your cats on your boat now because they were on land.
We can't meet up now because I'm going to end up with fucking kittens all over this boat, aren't I? She's going to see them all and be like, "Bring them all on board."
No, you know what? I love kittens because they're so cute, and our cats are old. So the oldest is 14. We've got 10 and 9. They were all rescues from the streets of Dubai, and they've traveled with us everywhere we've been. So
you've got 3.
We had 6 before, and now it's down to 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
Free on
So-
board.
You've got a bigger boat
Yes.
though.
Yeah. Yes, they
Look,
do.
you know, because like they're older and they're naturally chilled out. Well, it depends on the cat. Some cats are maniacs, but these are all pretty chilled cats.
Yeah.
They just sleep. They just sleep like 20 hours a day. That's it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're no bother whatsoever.
No.
You just like, dump the litter every couple of days and they're easy to
Exactly.
have on board.
So easy.
Do you ever wonder what they do at night? Because I sleep all day, but I swear they get up to stuff during
They
the night.
do. They run around the boat at night.
Sometimes they go nuts.
Sometimes
Yeah.
Zoomies.
one of them, the oldest one, will just have like these fits of running from one side to the other of the boat.
Yeah.
But at night when we sleep, they all sleep like between my legs because I have like
Oh.
I have like
The heat.
it's not that because I'm the cold one. So I have like a heated blanket. I've got 2 duvets and a blanket on top.
Not in
No,
August.
they're all sleeping on top of me
Oh,
because
in
those
August
like
as well.
Really?
She's freezing.
But do you have aircon?
No. But we're going to get it for next year, 100%.
Oh, I
I know
said
we've
to
got it,
Ross-
but they're old and I can't be bothered dealing with them. They take up, they
No.
draw too much power.
I've said I am not going to sail next summer until he gets aircon. That's it. I'm done.
Mate,
5
You know the
years.
best one to get? Seawater Pro have just started making a 12-volt air conditioner. It's
Oh,
$4,000 and it's
Right.
like it's massive capacity and it's full
Okay.
DC.
But is it
honestly it looks
small?
amazing. Yeah, it's small.
be good.
It's
yeah,
a
because
single
that's
unit.
our issue. Obviously, space.
I'll send you the link for it. It looks
Yeah,
That
no,
would
that'd
be
be great.
amazing. Yeah.
Otherwise,
Yeah,
we're not
it
going
looks
sailing,
wicked.
apparently.
No, we're not going. No, I'm sorry. 5 years.
It
5
was
years.
bloody hot this year.
of-
It was
I
hot.
tell you what, I don't know if it's like an age thing where I'm just, or it might be an age thing where my body doesn't cope
Your
as well.
fibro doesn't go so
No,
well,
my
does it?
fibro flares up terrible. Or if it's a patience thing, when you get to a certain age and you just like, no.
there you go. The
do
second
that
one came
anymore.
over.
Forget it. I'm not
Oh,
doing
got another
it.
one. Yeah, literally just like, no.
I think, like,
It is
being
unpleasant.
from the UK, it was a novelty for quite a while, just having the sun and the summer all the time.
And the
Yeah.
sea.
But after 5 years, I mean, this summer was so good. We didn't see a cloud in the sky for like
No,
the
it was
whole
good
summer.
in that respect, but,
Mm.
But what I'm saying is, like, after 6 months, you're almost like, can I just see a cloud?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, like, can I just hide under
Yeah,
one
man.
cloud somewhere? You know, it's
and also because the nature of our job now is so much busier, like Josh,
not just on holiday.
he's full-time secondary online schooling. We are full-time work with the channel, and but whereas before it was much more like we could kind of move with work more
Well,
organically, but now we really have to be on it every day and
Mm.
trying to work
kind of
and
brings us
concentrate in that
back to
heat.
the subject, doesn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it's
I
a
guess this is
nightmare.
caveat back to the what
we
What
sort of had a
about
plan
it
to talk
today?
about.
Let's just carry on talking about the weather.
weather.
We've got bowels, we've got weather.
Cats.
Yeah, why we
Cats.
kind of like asked you very politely to please have us on today was because we really wanted to sort of talk about a campaign that's going on with a school that we're ambassadors for, and also a subject that's very close to our hearts, which is on like homeschooling and the struggles that perhaps liveaboards have as homeschoolers and just general parenting on board.
And we thought it'd be something a little bit different because, you know, a lot of sailing channels talk about the sailing and all that sort of stuff. But I know for us, it was one of the biggest sort of
Challenges.
pros and cons for like leaving your old life to come and do this kind of sailing life. And one of the
You're dealing with
cons
kids.
was taking your kids out of school or the stress of homeschooling, you know?
Yeah.
And
But actually, one of the main reasons why we actually left the UK and came and lived on the boat was because we wanted to take the kids out of school. That wasn't because we didn't believe in schools. It wasn't because we didn't love the school where Josh and Noah went. It was because we couldn't get the support that we needed from the UK educational system for Josh, who has who is neurodivergent.
do you want to just bring
That's
it-
nuts that you couldn't get that help in the UK. Because
Yeah.
I mean, just comparing it to everywhere else, the UK is like one of the most advanced countries for this
You would
type of
think.
stuff. You
Well,
hear that's
apparently,
what you hear.
20% of all UK school children actually are absent from school. For
What does that mean?
various-
Absent? Like they just don't
Well,
turn up?
as in, so the awareness that we're trying to raise is that children that are bullied have mental health issues, anxiety, special educational needs, or neurodivergent are absent from school because they don't suit school. So the whole the actual campaign that
when you say absent, do you mean like they're absent-minded
they don't
from
go
it?
to school. They
They don't
just
actually
don't
go
go.
to school.
they do go to school, but they're not
not-
always there.
Not interacting. They're like in their own little.
Yeah,
they're not engaged.
struggle.
They're
basically.
calling it elephant in the classroom.
Yeah, the campaign that we're doing for MVA, which is Josh's online school, is called Elephant in the Classroom, and it's trying to highlight that the
Sounds like a bullying thing, actually.
Yeah, I know, right?
Classroom. It's trying to highlight the fat kids.
It's like elephant in the room. You know, when there's something in the room and it's like it's there, but no one's talking about it, right? And it is the fact that not all children suit traditional schools, right? We're not all made the same way. I definitely didn't, and I guess that's probably, I was thinking about this earlier. This is one of the reasons why I feel so passionately about it, is because actually looking back, I always thought it was me that was the failure at school, and actually I think that I just didn't suit traditional schools. Like all I wanted to do was be outside traveling, like in the world, and that was kind of like a driving force for me to not go to school very much. But our experience was obviously with Josh, who I guess I could rewind and talk about.
Yeah, because not everyone knows Josh. So
No,
just briefly start at the beginning.
Okay,
Just
so
on the 20% thing, is that like, so is the suggestion that basically, 2 out of 10 kids who are in a classroom, so probably 4 out of 20 normal size classroom when I was growing up anyway, like there's just no point in being at that facility.
They're not benefiting.
Maybe not no point. I mean, there's always going to be some benefit to school, for example, socialization to a certain extent.
But I think they have challenges.
But more that they would thrive better in a
different setting
environment. So that's basically what Josh has. So
what type of setting then would look like homeschool recommended, or like a different type of place? Like what are the alternatives?
So the alternatives are obviously homeschooling, which you can do when you're a you're a British citizen. You can legally homeschool. It's fine. You just tell the government and everything. But the facilities available for homeschoolers are few and far between, as we've been told by many friends and discovered ourselves. You kind of feel like you're stabbing in the dark a bit. There isn't a lot of support for homeschooling families. You have to seek it and be active about it. And that involves fighting a lot of anxiety, a lot of self-doubt, wondering, am I doing the right thing? Because no one's there backing you up saying you are.
I think as well, you often think like the other people who are being homeschooled that are like doing a fantastic job, and you compare yourself. Am I doing as good as them? And you're too scared to ask them because you might...
Well, for 3 years, I homeschooled Josh and Noah on the boat, and for those entire 3 years, I felt like I was a failure, like I wasn't doing enough, like they were going to grow up and I was ruining their lives. I mean, I'm not. That's a bit of
Hibber says this all the time,
but
I have this. What are you talking about? You're a great mother.
I had this underlying anxiety at all times, and it sometimes spoilt sessions for us because of this stress I was always feeling. And it wasn't until a very good friend of mine who's a teacher.
I was going to say,
Emily. She came to the boat and she took the boys for a few sessions a week because we happened to be all in the same marina.
Kind of to just say where they're at, and also just to see how you're doing.
Yeah, to give me a break, because I was just like strung out with it all. To see where the boys were at and give us an understanding of their level of understanding. And she was like, Laura, you are doing too much. You are, honestly, they're amazing. They're fantastic. They're really bright boys. They're really outgoing. And I couldn't believe I was actually finally hearing someone tell me that I was doing okay. The amount of times I've cried and got in a right state, thinking that I'm spoiling things, but actually, now I wish that someone had talked to me back then and said, you know what, we're all different. We all teach in a different way. There's no better teacher for your kids than their mum, because they know them through and through, inside out. They know when they're taking the mickey. They know when they're doing well. They're able to give them a hug when they're sad, or even give them a hug when they're doing amazingly, which a lot of schools are restricted on giving, actual bonding. When you're homeschooling, you can give them a break because you can tell when they're mentally tired.
The other thing, can I say that?
Sorry, yeah.
That's all right. The other thing I think with homeschooling
You always have to ask permission.
That's because I don't shut up. Usually you'd be like, Laura, shut up.
I'm being polite because I'm on camera and on the mic.
Yeah. Under the table, he's kicking me.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Also, I think just if you imagine what it's like to be in the workplace right now, everyone's having training all the time. Technology is literally changing over at such a fast pace. And I don't really think you can learn even a career anymore at school. I think what happens is you go into a career, then your learning continues. Yeah. And you don't have that teacher classroom thing anymore. So I think education should be kind of like how Josh has been brought up, where whilst he has been taught by you, he's done a lot of self-learning. Like Laura will say, go and research this, and he'll, learn about, whatever he's into or things like this.
Very cool.
It's I know with boats doing maintenance works like Volvo engines, no one's taught me anything about a Volvo engine. I've had to learn it. You go and do your research, and I think it's the future. I think if you can self-teach yourself things.
Also, if you can direct your energy into what you're good at, and the more you direct your energy into what you're really good at, the better you're going to be at one thing. But obviously you need the primary level of education underneath that, which is where homeschooling comes in. But now Josh is at secondary age now, and that is the point at which we found a lot of our liveaboard friends have either given up liveaboard life because they're like, oh no, education is so important, we can't possibly keep doing this because they're that age and
they get
we have to go back for that. And
I think kids at 11, 12 are really hungry for it then. They can absorb a lot more than
I got to the point where I couldn't. Like I literally was like, Josh has a certain degree of neurodiversity where he struggles massively with focus. If there's everything's in technicolor, if there's too much going on, he cannot tunnel vision.
If he was in a traditional classroom, he would not get anything.
Well, that's what happened. He was falling behind.
Yeah.
He was bullied. He was spat at. He was put in the corner. Yeah, a few elephants in the room. Put in the corner with his own desk with his name above him, away from the other kids.
So sorry.
He was distracted, and he was like, oh my God, it makes me so angry when I think about it, because Josh literally has a heart of gold and so much potential, but he was being slowly, but the school said, he needs one-to-one teaching because he can't focus.
They openly said, look, he needs really one-to-one, but not to the point where we can give you any help or funding, because he's on the spectrum of this, and it's not bad enough to need help.
I completely understand where you're coming from, because Arthur was expelled from a Montessori private school where it's supposed to be catered to children who are neurodivergent, on the spectrum, basically cannot sit down because everything, he's very active, he's jumping all the time.
What's the name of this place?
Let's just leave it.
They're full of shit. Let's name and shame these twats.
No, it's fine.
What were they called? It was a Montessori school in Ben Al Medina. Yeah. All the kids are running around like nutters, right? All of them are, they're all doing their own thing. They're all going wild. And Arthur wasn't doing anything different, I don't think.
I think he's just a little bit more active than a normal child, because neurodivergent and neurotypical, where a neurotypical child, you can tell them just sit down and they'll just take their seat and sit behind a desk and do something, where our son is probably like yours, cannot be conformed into this classroom, sit down, pay attention, write down your name. Plus, because he couldn't hear for the majority of his life for 4 years, and he had to have a surgery, get the grommets in. He was basically only able to start hearing when he was 4 years old. And he's only 5 now.
We had exactly the same experience with Josh, because Josh was born at 29 weeks. So I have a condition which basically puts me at very high risk for preterm births. Didn't find out until it was a bit too late. Well, I don't say that because Josh is here now, so I would never change that for the world. But we found out when he came at 29 weeks, and he was incubated for 6 weeks, brain bleeds, blah, 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 you name it. First 4 years of his life, similar situation, couldn't hear. And I'm sure that you as a mum knew something's not right here. He's not speaking properly. He's not.
You always said that. I said, oh,
Yeah,
it's
and
nothing.
doctors
You know,
don't
to be
believe
like-
you, and they tell you you're
Right.
paranoid, and they tell you
Yeah,
you're making
yeah.
things up, or
Well,
it's
fine,
it
he'll
just
grow out of it.
No,
it's
I was the same
fine.
as Ross. Ross sounds like it was the same as me. Because the
Yeah.
thing is, you look at them and you're like, they're so small and stupid anyway. It
Yeah.
just might not be
It's
working
hard to
yet.
tell.
Yeah, when you go to the
Yeah,
class, you
I'm
go,
like,
see, they're
give it a
all like,
year. Chill out.
Yeah.
I think I knew he was different when he was probably about 4 months old.
Yeah, same.
I could just see it in his eyes that the way he looked at things were completely different.
Yeah.
I
Did you
think
feel like-
this is the instinct of a mother, because
Yeah.
you've carried this baby. You have a different I don't know, connection. Yeah.
You feel it in your gut, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, it was this feeling right here, and
Yeah.
I would say to Ross, and I would cry sometimes, and I would say,
Same.
something is different. Like, I'm not saying I'm not saying he's a bad child. I'm not saying like that there's something wrong with him, but there's just something, and I can't put
Different.
a finger on it,
Mm.
but he doesn't look me in the eye. At one point, he's very perceptive in that way now, but socially, a little bit different. He's always been,
So it's spectrum autism.
yeah, but
Yeah.
at the same time,
it's hard to put a label on it.
like
Yeah,
all the health
It's a
professionals,
spectrum.
yeah, despite going to all of the appointments with hospitals and God knows, Josh was in out of hospital for the same as is it Moose, your son?
Yeah, you can say Arthur, but we call him
Arthur.
Moose.
I always say Moose because Andy says so Arthur was the same. Sorry, Josh was the same as Arthur, where he was in that hospital for 4 years, had grommets as well because of the underdevelopment of the eustachian tubes.
Right.
And sick, or like often poorly.
It
And
still is with banana.
had
If you show him a banana, he's
he'll
almost
throw up. Yeah. So he
Oh, that's
threw
such
up
a
every
shame.
single
Bananas
day.
are
I'll
great.
tell you something
Years.
about premature kids, because I was born at 28 weeks
Oh
in,
wow.
Right.
in the 80s, where
Wow.
nothing was available, and my mom did
Wow.
her own thing, and she took me home
Mm.
and she made her own incubator from, like, I don't know, cotton and boiled water. It gets better.
It was
and
old school. It was Syria.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
isn't in Wigan.
Syria, like a third world country.
Yeah.
It was difficult, but she
Mm.
did it. And I was a very sick kid until I was like 13 years of age, and then something
Good
clicked,
God.
and I just stopped getting sick.
Yeah. Yeah. Josh is like literally the
So it
moment
does
Josh
get
came out,
better.
Everything.
when they took him out, like I was at emergency C-section, they picked him up and he immediately screamed, and they said, no, it's very uncommon for a baby before 30 weeks to cry, and he's
Yeah, really.
hollered.
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
just in
yeah.
a hurry. I
It
just wanted
was
to
in the
come out.
UK. It's quite cold,
Yeah.
probably.
Even in his incubator with all his lines in him and his mask on and all this stuff, he was trying to
Still his
rip
mother's
everything
son.
out. He was like, and he's been like that ever since. Such
He
a
used
fighter.
to. I remember putting your hands in the incubator, and I changed his nappy first, didn't I?
Yeah, you do.
And
Same.
he was like, I mean, his leg was like my middle finger, and
Tiny, yeah.
he was fighting me. He was like kicking and punching.
Still
me,
does
like,
now.
Didn't want his nappy changed. I'm like,
Yeah.
look at this little
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, so
It's weird, isn't it? They're so small, but they're so strong, babies.
Yeah.
yeah, it's amazing
Like-
what fight can give someone and do for someone. All we need is a bit of fight, isn't it? Really?
But that's something he's always had. He's always had this fight
Yeah.
and drive.
That's I guess going back to the school thing. That's kind of like why we were having been through what we'd been through with him in those first 4 years, and then seeing him in a school being put at the back of the room, being such a fighter, such a heart of gold, and all of that shit that he'd been through. We were like, no,
Yeah, it's
The thing
garbage,
is-
he
isn't
had a
it?
better life as a
He
result
is-
of all that as
He's
well.
very smart in some areas. I mean, I don't know if you remember this, but it was literally 4 years old. He could do all the times tables.
Oh yeah, and his
You know?
prime numbers.
So we knew like something was
He's
going
mathematically
good here,
like
but he wasn't learning
Arthur's
anything.
running around doing that now.
really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
he's not been talking for that long, but he just walks around and he just goes numbers by 6, and then he'll just go do the 6 times table. Then he'll go
Yeah.
numbers by 11, and I'm like, I
And
can't
then
do this shit.
like the
Numbers
skip
by
numbers.
13. How hard is the 13 times table? I still can't do that.
Yeah.
And
And he's just popping him out
that
at 5.5.
that's
good.
what you need
Yeah,
to
yeah.
foster. Those that going to like the more homeschooling route with it. I don't know what exactly you guys are planning with Arthur, but what you have as a homeschooling parents of a neurodivergent child is the ability to see those like
The potential, basically,
sparks and that potential and foster it and work on it. And that's what we've been able to do, moving on to, so taking Josh away from that really hard start, giving ourselves the environment that we needed to thrive in and be better parents in because we're happier, and give him an environment where, because before we moved on the boat, he was like, he needed control, didn't he? He needed like a routine. Everything had to be very routine, typical neurodivergent, yeah. But moving on the boat and being very unroutine, everything out the window.
His routine is chaos.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Has
his routine.
Yeah. Routine just does not work for them.
No, but it does in a way. Like they like to know where they're at, right?
Yeah,
but
they do. They like rituals, don't they?
Yeah.
Like they like certain things, not necessarily like a classroom routine, because that wouldn't be productive. But
we found like basically learning by playing, and because when you cannot hear, you become a visual learner. So this is what Arthur developed. He became a visual learner. He taught himself how to read. Like when there are certain words he struggles with because he doesn't know how it sounds, but
he knows what it is.
He can look at something and try to read it. Now he doesn't do that a lot because he's a very strong-willed child and he'll do whatever he wants to do. And we've kind of learned that you cannot stop him because it doesn't work. This is how
you can
he
direct
learns.
him. You can direct his energy to the
We've
in a way
kind of figured out as well, like if we want him to, because we try and teach him how to talk like all the time, like here's a new sentence, read this. He learns better when he reads something rather than you asking him to repeat what you're saying. That actually hardly works at all. But we've noticed like if you try and engage with him and he's just like going nuts over pentagons or pentagrams or nanograms, hexagon, but he's obsessed with shapes.
He is, and he knows all the shapes. Like he said, he's 5.5.
I remember Josh being similar.
Like I don't know. The other day he was like, "Oh, it's what is it? A betazoid? No,
the betazoid. No, that's
Star Trek. Sorry. Something. He was like Numagon and Decagon. I was like, "What is that?" And I had to Google it, and it was like, "Oh, it's a 10." Like a 10 thingy shape, and I was like, I didn't even know this.
He knows so much about the solar system now. It's nuts. He knows like about stars, secondary stars, like
he knows
the different
dwarf planets.
About that side of things because
he's obsessed with it.
We're learning a bunch.
Has he played chess? Could you get him to play chess? Do you think?
Probably.
Yeah, because Josh.
That's what I started with. Josh about 5.
Yeah, about 5. He started with Josh on chess, and now he.
Oh my God!
How logical.
We had a
Maybe
game.
Drafts at first to get him into the idea of a board game. We haven't tried board games with him yet because that would just be messy.
Drafts could be a good start.
I just said, drafts could be a good one because he could just get the idea of what a board is in a game and stuff.
The reason I'm saying this is because you're saying like he speaks better when he reads and speaks. It sounds like he works really well with complexity, but struggles with simplicity. And the thing with chess is it is a mind game and it is complex, but in a relatively simple way. And it has exact rules, which tends to be something that's
before we had gaming on board, it was one of the only ways I could get. It was one of the only ways I could get Josh to sit still. So talk about get them to sit on a chair,
focus.
Like that was one way where I could literally have him for an hour and sit still, and because it's good to practice that stuff.
I mean, like I just said, he's just turned 13, right? And he's in online secondary school, so I don't obviously homeschool him anymore. Cannot. His maths level is just like, I'm not very good at maths. It makes me feel like a fembot. You remember Austin Powers with the women that he's had? Yeah, that's me when I think
we have a lot in common there.
I cannot.
This early with the machine gun nipples. We all remember that. Ross remembers it. He knows it well. I do. My dad does. My granddad probably saw it and loved it. We all know it.
Well, I was thinking more about the ones whose heads blew up, but
those ones. Sorry.
Those ones. Maybe a combination. You sent my head sideways.
You're thinking about the nipples, right?
These nipples, that's all
Quite
it
a
is.
fun Halloween outfit.
Yeah, right.
Be cool. Anyway, that's another thing. Yeah. So Josh is really good at maths, and he goes to secondary school. He goes online. So now we found like the homeschooling was brilliant because he had me.
I think
and I
up
could
till secondary school.
discover his strengths and
Yeah.
weaknesses, but
Mm.
I could not give him enough to feed his brain. I just couldn't. Like I tried, but with work getting busier and all the rest of it, it was just like getting to be I could see that he wasn't getting enough out of the experience of homeschooling.
Yeah.
And as we're
just on that point, so do you think, like, the way I look at homeschooling and generally primary school anyway, I think primary school is basically preparing you to be able to like learn in a serious environment.
Agreed.
I don't think it's that's something I think a smart cruiser could do by themselves if they cared about the kids.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
100%.
absolutely.
But for high school, I would be like,
homeschooling.
Yeah, homeschooling. But like what you're doing now with your kid, where you've got them enrolled in like an online school for secondary, I'd be like, yeah, that's necessary.
You know what? It's been an absolute game changer, both for us as business owners, as parents, for Josh as a kid, he's at the age now where he wants to, he needs to more social interaction. He's discovering who he is as a person. He's getting more and more intelligent, more complex. I mean, he has a weekly mentor and he has SEND support as well, obviously. That's available. He has a weekly meeting where he has half an hour mental health. Every child gets this anyway, but a weekly mental health check-in with his mentor, who's his head of year anyway. She's lovely. He has.
So what's that mental health check-in like for a 13-year-old? Like, how did they do that?
She will chat to him for half an hour in a video call, like a Zoom call, and just say, what's been going on this week, Josh? What are you up to?
Talk about your feelings.
Yeah, talk about your feelings, anything you want to
We never had that, do we?
And he gets that and he absolutely loves it. He shows her the kitten mostly because she's got cats as well, and they just talk about kittens the whole time. But it's but if he did have any problems, he could highlight them.
She'd engage it, she'd figure it out.
He has chess club, he has
He's good at that.
neurodiversity club. So other neurodiverse children, he gets to do a club with them once a week. He does.
What do they do in the club?
They play games actually quite a lot. I don't even know what they do.
And this is all online.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Amazing.
So
how much does it cost? Like, what is it for a kid for a year?
It varies, I think, but it's about $7 a year.
Yeah, so it's not, you obviously have to.
I tell you what though, when you look at what they do in that time, if you break it down to per hour, it's really very good.
So for example, the good thing for us is because it's UK based, it's Minerva Virtual Academy, MVA, because it's UK based, they're 2 hours behind. So Josh is terrible getting out of bed and getting ready. Although he's extremely intelligent in some ways, he'll forget to brush his teeth for 3 days straight if you don't remind him.
Or even get dressed
on Josh. He's like Einstein. Einstein who didn't believe there was any point in clothes, but wore them because it was socially unacceptable not to. He starts at 10:30. He has assembly with the whole school. So you have the head teacher, all the kids. There's a chat where they can all talk. The teachers can mute the chat.
But also,
control the chat.
Also, they can mute and turn their camera off and say, "Mum, can I have a bacon sandwich?"
Yeah.
And then puts it back
do
on.
You know what this sounds like? Right, I went to Disneyland when I was I think I was 10 for the first time, and there's this huge golf ball at this place called Epcot Center, which is this Disney Science Park. It's wicked. They've got weird rides there now, but it used to be just science, and it was cool. And inside the golf ball, there was you took a ride through it, you got in a cart, and it showed you the future basically. And it showed you kids in new classrooms, which were actually all screens. The kids are all sat there virtually with each other. And I remember looking at it when I was 10 thinking, oh my God, the future looks amazing. Well, that's actually what your kid's doing. Right
they're actually doing it now.
That's nuts. Yeah.
It's all off the back of actually when COVID happened, a lot of teachers went to online schooling, and a lot of them discovered that they actually were also not suited to classrooms. So this is another area of awareness that MBA are trying to raise, is that not all teachers, like, you know, they're experiencing burnout in traditional UK schools, and online schools are really good for, like,
it's a hard job being a teacher at like a normal school. It's brutal, actually. They get paid
they actually have a long waiting list of teachers wanting to work there.
Join them. Yeah, they're all ex-private school teachers as well. The majority are. But actually, I know a teacher there who has fibromyalgia, similar to me. And when she gets very stressed, she gets really bad fatigue, and she really struggled in a normal schooling setting. But she had amazing qualifications, fantastic teacher, but she could hardly get through her day in a traditional school. But
is
now,
this because of the physical ailments that she had?
Yeah,
right.
But now, because she goes to online, because she's an online school teacher, she can take that downtime that she needs in her own home. You know, you can eat when you want, you can take breaks when, well, obviously your breaks are structured. You do get a lot of structure to online school. That's something that we really liked about it as well, is that now if Josh goes from online school to a work placement, and you know, he gets a job, he now knows how to be somewhere at a certain time and the consequences if you don't, right? Whereas when we're homeschooling,
we were not like that.
We were very
it's free gaming, isn't it?
We're going sailing today, we'll do that tomorrow.
We were very much like that.
Primary school, again, I think, like, I remember primary school, and like I see, you know, the way like kids are treated in primary school, and it's not great. Like, it's not. It's just like these, you know, like another brick in the wall, like Pink Floyd. Like, it is what it actually looks like, and you just have to conform to that way of absorbing information.
And that's really tough for someone who...
It doesn't work for a lot of kids.
Exactly. If you're really bright, you really don't like being in a lot of noise. You know, I learn better in a quiet environment, personally. You get the best out of a person if they're in their best environment. It's like that whole saying, what is it? A fish out of water can't swim, but put it in water and it can, that kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's your
that's a fairly self-explanatory one, though, isn't it?
I know, but there's a much better one than that, but that's fine.
The fish on land, the fish dies.
Right?
A birds can't swim in the water, but let them fly, they thrive, something like that.
Exactly. And
I think it's like that.
If we can all get to a point, if people could just like open their eyes up to the fact that we are all, we all know we've only got one life, right? And we all want to reach our, well, okay, you know what I mean. In theory, we all want to reach our fullest potential and be the happiest we can be. So, like, let's all just try and find the best environment that works for us as human beings, no matter what our, you know, where we're coming from or what our capabilities are, like. And that's kind of what we've tried to do. And no regrets, but we don't want other people out there to feel like that anxiety that they might be feeling of, you know, they want to stay in this life, but how can we stay in this life when we can't meet our children's needs? Well, there are ways of doing it.
It sounds like a good, so it's like, what, so that's about what, 500 quid a month, something like that?
I think so, I mean, obviously it's not,
if it's 7 a year, it's like 350.
I think there's a lot of people out there now are living on board and working full time. So it's not, I think you have to be, really, don't you, to be living on board. So in theory, it's obviously got to be a disposable income to be able to do that. But there is also hope,
you know, if you can work online and cover the cost, you know, your kids are getting lots of different professionals teaching your child now, and you just do your work at the same time
to push yourself in.
You do your work,
but
then I think
it more or less costs the same as putting them in a normal school, because you have to buy the uniform, you have to get
I was
the
going to
books,
say
you have to pay for, I don't know, transportation and their food and all that.
Like with primary school, it's like 9 to 3. If you're a normal person, you can't drop a kid off at school at 9 o'clock and pick them up at 3. So you either have to pay for like pre-care or post-care. So you're paying an extra few hundred a month anyway.
And you know, the petrol, like in our little world, Josh rolls out of bed onto the table, opens his laptop, and he's in school. He doesn't. He barely uses pens, paper. He doesn't have to really for the majority of his lessons. So typing.
That's exactly my point, because, like, for example, I work full time still, but I work online. So I start at at this timing it's 10 to 6, but it's basically 9 to 5. And you roll out of bed, you open your computer, and you just start working.
Brilliant.
And then you finish work, and you're in your living room, so you're not.
None of that
And
traveling.
it was really difficult for me when I was working full time. Andrew is in Greece working on the boat, and I have to drop Arthur and pick him up at like 9, pick him up at 4. And it was like a 50-minute drive to get to that school, because that was the only school that I was able to find for him that was okay for his needs. But then he ended up being like, oh, sorry, we cannot care for him anymore because he's too much. So it was.
Let's get back on this topic. Let's
just talking about the money part of it, where I had to put him in early school, and then I had to put him in late school, so I was paying €700 a month minus
and uniform as well.
No, there was no uniform and there was no books, but I was also paying the petrol. So it was costing quite a bit. So if you're paying 350 quid a month to get your kid to go to school at home, and he's getting all the he's getting all his needs met. He's neurodivergent, so he's getting one-to-one shadowing, he's getting extracurricular stuff. It's really good. It's really not expensive.
I think something I've noticed with Josh since going from school to homeschool to now this with MVA is his confidence. Like he is so confident. In fact, a little bit. Hang on, we're on a talk right now.
It's not the devil, actually. No, it's Noah.
Listen, we're on a podcast right now.
Is there something you need, darling? We did say to you, unless the house is burning down.
Yeah, I tried the same thing at the same time. It's like the witching hour.
There's a flood. Is there either? Is the house burning down? No, that's good. Where's the flood?
There is a flood.
Where?
Somewhere.
Outside.
Come on.
In your dreams.
We'll see you in a minute, right?
But anyways.
No. Out.
We're good, darling. We're good. That's like, no, out.
Once you get
Will he make you bruise yet? Will he get you a beer and make you a tea?
Yeah,
It's because we've been here a while. That's what it is.
You want more brown juice?
I was going to say, Hiba, another big bonus of not doing a school run. You don't have to do the whole when you get to the school gate. I was a run and jump. Was it run and drop? What?
Let me just go and get him a drink, because he's going to stand around shouting brown juice for the rest of time if I don't give him Coca-Cola.
Give him this.
Get me a drink.
Some more here.
Glass of wine. Water? Are you kidding?
All right, you girls chat and I'll go and get
I'll tell you what, just pause. No, I won't pause it. I'll keep it going, then it's easier to edit.
Yeah.
I was going to say that something I really love is that I don't have to do the school run anymore, because I was one of those mums that was like, go to the school gate, always late, guaranteed I'd be late. I was born late.
Always. This school had like a specific time that they could take them from 9 to 10 past 9. And if you missed that 10-minute window, you had to wait till 9:30, because they do like a morning circle. Piss off.
And that's just like another level of stress that you just could do without.
Exactly. And mind you, I'm doing this in my working hours, so I know I'm gonna have to work overtime to make up for the time that I'm not online, and the place is so far away, and I am stuck in rush hour, that it takes me about 50 minutes to an hour and 10 to get there. Same at night. So I was working till like 3 o'clock in the morning. So it was like the whole thing was trickling nonstop, and because Andrew was like working on the boat, and he had to be like, he was gone for long periods of time, like 6 weeks at a time. And he was like working day and night, like, slaving on the boat to get it done ASAP. So it was so stressful. It was just such a stressful time.
Yeah.
Now I have another issue with Arthur, because he couldn't hear for so long, but he's also autistic. He has global developmental delay.
Okay, I don't actually know what that is.
So basically, he's late.
Yeah.
To hitting specific comprehension milestones, not physical, because physically he's way more advanced than his age. He's like a 13-year-old, but mentally, like, he's still in nappies. I still cannot tell him to tell me that he needs to poop, for example.
Okay, right. Okay.
So he's very neurodivergent.
Are you working in your mind then? You're working to a different timeline
Yes.
of development to everyday people.
Completely.
You want
It's
that?
that must be, yes, please, thanks. Wine. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is very different, and it adds this level of stress on everything else that you have.
Yeah,
Because like you said,
ready.
you always feel like you're a bad mom and you're not
Yeah.
doing enough. I'm like, I could be doing more. I could be doing more, but I work full time.
You can only do what you are capable of doing.
Yeah.
As who you are. Like, so, like, you know your child better than anyone else. You know, you can see the gaps in their needs, and I think that all of this anxiety problem, is all solved through literally just having pure faith in your own ability and just being like, I can do it. I don't, when like you wish as a mum that there was like a tick book. Yes,
Or
I'm
like a
doing
magic
okay.
button.
I'm doing okay.
Or like a crystal ball to show you like the next year that, oh, you've done great. You're fine. You'll be
That
fine.
they're going to be okay. That in 20 years' time, they're going to be doing fine. And we don't have that available to ourselves. All we actually do have is self-belief.
You talk about homeschooling.
Actually parenting in general, and especially making a leap to like, so you have your everyday land life where you do this as a mum anyway. So every mum, whether in a traditional setup, not neurodiverse child, normal school, normal upbringing, they feel that on an everyday basis anyway.
Yeah.
Of course.
That I wish I had a crystal ball. I wish I could fill all the gaps. I wish I could tick all the non-existent boxes that I wish existed, right? I wish I had someone telling me I'm doing fine all the time. They get that from schools. They get that all the time. And then you add on that neurodiversity or like a struggled upbringing. Like, I don't know, for me, it was having an early baby. I blamed myself for 2 years. Postnatal depression, really terrible. So you have extra boxes that don't get ticked for you. And then you get the decision to live on a boat and be totally different to the majority of the rest of the world, the way they live. That takes another level of stress and another level of, am I doing the right thing? So we are putting extra pressure on ourselves. And the only way that you ever can cope with that is literally to go, I got this. I got this. I'm a good mum. I love my child. I will fill all the blanks because I'm me. And that is literally all you can do. And talk to people, get into WhatsApp groups, chat to friends. I mean, I had a little list actually of things you can do, like meet up with other families.
Sorry.
That's what I can say.
Sorry.
Cat's bum.
Yeah, like join. I'm sure you guys are already on them, but like See People app, No Foreign Land app, like WhatsApp. There's WhatsApp groups. There's WhatsApp mum groups. So like there's a mum group out there. Andy's joined one recently with no space.
He's now nudging like the lights and stuff.
And the camera and the computer. Come on.
Yeah. Go down. But you need, I think talking is the best thing people can do, because like even us having this conversation now, you're not alone and that other people are feeling that. I have a friend who last night I was just messaging who is going through a bit of a rough ride because they're in an area of Greece that's very lonely. Like there's certain areas of the world where you just don't, there's not as many people.
Are they in Greece?
Lesbos.
Yeah, they're over in the Dodecanese. So we've found that in the Ionian area, that's one of the reasons why we just find it so hard to leave, why we love it so much, because it's so social. There's lots of boat families here.
There's a lot of boat families coming this coming year as well.
And a lot of anxieties that we had in years before, where we were like, I don't know, I felt quite lonely over that side. I can't explain why, I just did.
It's quieter anyway, isn't it? Like there's not as many people there.
And older generation people, it tends to be more retirees out over that side. And that can suddenly make an experience as a liveaboard feel much more isolated.
But we also experienced a lot of that time over there during
lockdown.
The pandemic.
lockdowns.
I don't know the
Yeah,
right
we were
word to say.
lucky though. We were in a good spot. We were very lucky there.
Oh yeah, we were lucky in terms of the world, but it made it feel even more isolated. Like when we
Cheers.
could go sailing, we were like the only boat, you know, in a lot of bays,
Yeah.
which is cool,
Yeah.
but it's not so good for kids because
No.
after a while, you know,
We did find that
they're missing.
Noah was far more up and down. Like at that point when we were traveling in those areas,
Yeah.
we would have periods of time where Noah was just not quite himself, you know, and he needed more than we could give him.
Yeah.
So we would then seek out towns, places that we could go to, parks and play with the kids and stuff. And so that's another area of obviously liveaboard life that I think a lot of people don't talk about, and that is that humans do thrive on social contact, and like even us as mums, Hibba, and obviously guys need guy chat. Like it's the ingredients of life, isn't it? They are some of the ingredients that keep us mentally healthy and happy. And so yeah, I would, you know, always, mental health is always a big thing, isn't it? Yeah, and I think we struggle. I don't know about you guys. Like, you're a social couple, though, aren't you? You're very social. You've had the Odyssey Festival.
She's miserable. She said, "Don't invite them. Don't bring them back."
Oh,
I'm joking.
He's
Hands
joking.
there.
Oh, this guy, Jesus, old man, bugger off.
Oh,
What is
he's
going on?
lovely.
You can probably smell the cats here.
Oh, sorry.
Just a minute. He just knocked
A drink.
over.
Oh no!
I'm gonna go and get a towel.
Yes, please.
Got one there.
No,
one
I
there.
have one here.
You got a
Actually,
towel.
no, it's okay. We're fine. Don't worry about it.
It's not going to damage anything.
No, it's okay. It's all cool. It's not that bad.
Good thing
actually.
about boats, it's kind of designed to get quite wet.
To take
isn't it?
water.
Yeah.
Even inside.
Well,
you
no,
don't
it's just
come
we
in
have all
behind.
the like the computer and the the
all the tech
equipment.
stuff.
Yeah, there's just the technology.
Oh no, it's all
stuff.
right. Nothing's
Fine.
damaged. It's only orange juice.
It's only it's cordial.
Oh,
actually,
only
it's not
sticky
even
orange
orange juice.
juice.
It's just cordial.
Only sugar.
Do you
in
know
a
what?
glass.
What we do, I've taught the kids, is we have laptop cases for the laptops, right? I tell them to put them on the case, and you just got like this little 10 mil buffer for when it's
Yeah.
That's a good rule.
We still use like I don't know if you guys do this. We still use flasks and cups with lids on them and
For the
toddler
kids.
cups and me.
And you,
Me,
yeah, because
You're about the only person
that
that
doesn't
uses the
spill
glass.
stuff over themselves on a daily basis. Yeah.
Clumsy, but really quick. So like you'll drop something and catch it before it goes
Hits the floor.
everywhere.
Yeah.
But the rest of us are terrible.
That's because I am clumsy. I've just learned to deal with it.
Yeah. So how do you guys find socialization for Arthur? Do you find
Now
it
it's a bit different for us because Arthur is not really interested in playing with kids. He's only recently just started showing some interest sometimes.
But not much.
But
like
not
the
much.
kid could be exchanged for a squirrel and he'd play the same with it, wouldn't he? Like he chases the kid sometimes and he smiles and he says a word.
So he's always been a self-entertainer.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, so he could sit in his bedroom either on an iPad or playing with his blocks or looking at a book, and he'll just be fine. And sometimes he'll just be jumping on the bed himself, like he's just entertaining himself physically, like he's just jumping all the time.
Does he have special interests as well? Because Josh has special interests, like something that he'll get really into.
Like playing piano.
Everything will be that. So it's either, well, at the moment it's piano, which he's very good at, and
it's numbers really at the moment.
Yeah.
It's been numbers for months.
And
everything's very new
numbers
for him still because he's only been able to hear for like a year and a half. Like he's effectively like a 3.5-year-old really.
And how's it going with talking? Can he say anything?
Yeah,
he's got loads better. We've just got him onto sentences like over the last few
he's
months
not able
really.
to say his full name and how old he is and where he lives and what type of boat is Voyager. It's really cute. You ask him where do you live and he say I live on Voyager. Of course it's not this the pronunciation isn't as clear, but you can understand it.
Well, he just needs more practice of his mouth, doesn't he? Yeah. It's not so much like engaging conversation or anything, because again, it's like talking to a 3.5-year-old. But he's putting sentences together now, which is a cool step, I think it's great. So
He'll catch up in no time. In 10 years'
yeah.
time, you'll be like, what were we even worrying about?
You remember when
Yeah.
Josh had his grommets put in, and I can remember now because we held him back a year from school first of all, and I homeschooled him for the first year, and I would use a blackboard to do the sentences, and that's how and then he would write them, and that was how like he slowly, because he needed to do two things at once as well, and the difference suddenly when he could hear was like upward trajectory.
Yeah.
And there were so many like magical moments from there onwards because of the developmental
It was like
delay.
the toilet would flush and suddenly you'd be like, what the
and then
what's
he got really sound
Yeah.
sensitive.
like
as
you'd
well,
never heard
actually.
it before.
Do you remember he got really sound sensitive as well?
Yeah, he used to do this all the time.
We couldn't take him to a loud place. Like I was a singer back before in for many years, and he used to sing and play guitar, and I'd do gigs, and you'd bring Josh, and he'd be like, "Get me out of here!" Like, thanks.
He almost took
Tough
a back.
crowd.
Once he could hear better, he almost took a backward step for a while.
Yeah.
He didn't know how to filter all this noise, you know.
But
It'd be like when Peter Parker first got his spider senses. It was just all a bit too
I was
much for him,
thinking
wasn't it?
Daredevil. Have you seen
Daredevil, actually, yeah, that's a better
Where he-
reference. Oh, well done, mate. That was a great one. Yeah, spot on. Hibba used to be a singer, didn't you, sweetheart? She used to sing the Arabic songs, the Arabic rock songs.
It's not Arabic. It was like a completely different genre. It's called Rai. It's like
You want to give us a demo?
No, I smoked for too long that I cannot sing anymore. I don't even have a pitch. My pitch is wrong. Like I don't have, what is it called?
Pitch, tone.
So I don't have, I'm like tone deaf now.
I'm sure it's in there somewhere. I tell you
No,
what,
no, really, no.
I'm
we're
tone
gonna
deaf.
do one
Always
day,
have been.
and we're gonna have a drink, and we're gonna play guitar, and we're gonna sing together.
But you won't like this type of music. Trust me. It
I
was like
love it.
it was the
Any
band.
kind
It
of
was a
music.
band, and I really liked it at the time. But I wouldn't selectively choose to sing that again. If that
she
makes
puts
sense.
it on, you know that she hates you.
Okay.
That's the best way
No,
to
not
say
really.
it. It is
No.
pain to the ears.
I really hope we can have a little go at something though. We'll have a little go at something, and I really hope
I do karaoke for fun.
You could do.
Yeah.
She can tap on something and keep a rhythm, can't you?
Ooh,
And
we
we've
just
got
got-
we've got one of these actually.
Yeah, this
You
is
could do
mine.
the-
I can just do
that
that.
one.
Yeah, well, we just literally for Josh's 13th because he has physical stims and tics.
Yeah.
So like he has
Yeah.
speech delay where like sometimes he can't talk and it takes him like a whole minute to be able to spit the sentence out, bless him. But he also does this, he has this tapping thing, so we bought him bongos for his birthday.
Yeah.
So we're on the bongos now. So we've got bongos,
amazing.
guitar, piano, we've got your shaky thingy. Also Josh
Bring
is
some earplugs.
he would isn't Josh brilliant with little ones as well?
Oh yeah.
I
I guarantee
if you
they'll
would
hit it
love
off.
them,
Yeah.
he would be so patient with little ones, and he loves
That would be amazing,
Oh,
actually.
yeah, that would
wouldn't
be
it?
amazing.
Yeah, that would be
numbers
so cool.
and maths. He would literally just sit with him and talk numbers
Hmm.
quite happily.
Oh, you would love that.
Literally.
Because he just goes around 1 trillion, 1 billion, 1 quintillion. And I was like, how do you even know this?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like flashbacks. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So back to the school. Back to the
Yeah.
school.
Well, where do people? We're going to have to end this at some point. So
Of course. Let's do this,
I know
don't we?
these things can go on for 3 hours.
Watch out, I'm
We've done a
drinking as
couple
well. This
already.
could go on even longer.
Well, we've got so where can people go and check like we're going to go and check it out
Yeah.
actually, like
Okay.
this sounds incredible. So,
So-
where can people go to see it?
Well, I had some little actionable
So
steps.
you asked where? So it's Minerva Virtual Academy.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
So if you just Google Minerva Virtual Academy
Yeah.
or for short MVA, I think both come up on Google. And
Yeah.
they follow the Cambridge curriculum, so they're like UK based. But they have like
Wicked.
students from all around the world, you know, and it started off like actors and athletes and people on the move a lot, but
And people
but they've grown like so much. There's so many kind of, I don't want to say normal, but they're just like just typical kids now. Like
Yeah.
So you
in
do
the
not
UK,
need to
even
be a
at
resident
home,
of the
you
UK.
don't have to be traveling or doing anything special. And that I think that's what they're doing with this Elephant in the Classroom campaign is kind of creating awareness.
that anything online school is not just available for people who have they think it's more of a money thing, you know, you have to have more money or whatever. because it's private schooling, obviously. But that, you know, there's children that are coming from backgrounds of bullying that are looked after because they can have no video on the screen if they want to be incognito because their confidence levels are low.
Yeah.
And the teachers work them up to being able to be present and unafraid to be part of a community of children.
The other thing is if they're going through a difficult time, or you were traveling, or you had family down, or you had something else in mind for your week, they can not do the lessons, and they can just watch them recorded later.
And do the homeschooling.
That's useful.
It's better to interact. You know, we like Josh to hit all his lessons, but we had a day out on a rib boat the other day where a guy was teaching about octopus or octopi.
Yeah.
And
we've been through this before, haven't we?
Oh, don't go there, honestly.
We ended up on like a full dialogue about where is the anus.
Yeah,
we did.
Sorry, I really got
like, is it the mouth or the anus?
Do you know why octopus has 3 hearts?
No.
Copper blood?
Oh, because they don't have the same blood as us. They have copper-based blood, and it's thicker, so it's harder to pump around. So they have to have 3 hearts to be able to pump it.
Anyway, the point
back to what he was saying.
The point I was saying was, you know, you could have something important to you, and you don't have to justify yourself to them. You know, it's not like a public school where you're going to get fined for taking them on holiday.
They're so judgy as well, aren't they? Like, you know, they decide what you like. Oh no, you have to bring your kid. Like, that isn't a good enough reason.
By the way, that was a pro for me for leaving.
Oh yeah, big pro.
Suddenly, like, having to
more finished brown juice
for all these rules. You know.
Well, we just had the grandparents here for a week, and so. If we were going on a day out or a trip out or whatever, and he hasn't seen his grandparents for like 2-3 years, we could say Josh is missing this lesson today because of that. They're totally cool with it. He had his birthday off, on a Thursday, no problems, but he could catch up with the lessons afterwards.
Or
just totally miss them. But obviously we do our best to make sure he meets all the targets. They still do assessments and exams just like any other standard everyday school.
Oh, nice.
But I don't think they're so like, you know, pushing kids to get all these best results. They're just trying to do the best by them, you know. It's not like trying to be the best school and hitting all these targets and all these things.
Because it's private.
Because it's private, they don't have to do that.
They're not trying to please the government. They're trying to actually look after the kids and please the children and please the parents and do the best they can by the kids.
Coming back to the money thing as well, you do see a lot of kids these days having the latest PlayStation, like all these, you know, things. And actually, what could be a better thing to invest your money into? Like, I would happily go without a few things to put Josh in a school, you know, because just to know for the next 4 or 5 years, depending when you start, that's taken care of, you know, and then we've done everything we can do then, really.
Absolutely. And we
given him like a really diverse, cool life, proper education, you know, what
travel,
adventure,
learning different cultures and people. So really, I think to summarize it, actually being a cruiser is probably one of the best environments to educate your kid.
Could be.
Yeah. They got the best of every world. The best.
Yeah, really.
But you can, for anyone who's interested, MVA do have obviously social media, so you can follow the, we've got our social media, Sailing Honey Blue, and then you've got Minerva Virtual Academy. The whole Elephant in the Classroom campaign is going to be going over. They're trying to reach 2.2 million people minimum to try and spread this awareness. So if anyone's interested, they can follow all of that, or they can go to obviously the Minerva Virtual Academy website. And you don't need to be resident of the UK. You can be based anywhere in the world. We've actually thought about, you know, spending a few weeks because the big 4-0 is coming up for us. So we've thought about you know, going on a trip, maybe doing Asia or something, you know, going somewhere a bit funky and fun. And the time zones.
You can't afford it though, because you've got to get aircon.
Yeah. You try and blame me for not going away for your 40th.
Yeah.
Happy wife, happy whole life, not just your 40th.
Okay.
I think it's worth it.
Yeah, that is worth it.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, if you go abroad, we'll see about that. Then your kids can learn from anywhere in the world. It's brilliant. So yeah,
that's wicked. Yeah, that sounds like something we'll Probably definitely do.
Well, I've
Absolutely,
already asked the question actually, but they don't do primary schooling.
But
They
it's
don't
like I
at the
said, there's
minute.
no
Do you know
point.
what? That was one of the first things I said to them, because we've obviously got Noah, he
Yeah.
can't go at the minute.
We're
Yeah.
prepping him for
But they have, grown a lot, and they are, I think, don't quote me on this, but they might be starting it definitely year 6.
they've had
next
a
year.
lot of people.
But they are going to slowly go
Yeah.
down. I don't know where the cutoff will be. Maybe it'll be just year 5 and 6 to start with.
They've had so many
I'm
people.
sure-
Well, that's like age 10, isn't it?
I'm sure when Arthur's around
Yeah.
that age, they'll be doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wicked. This is
I-
we're going to follow up on this and
Yeah.
But I mean,
check it all out.
some other things you can do just to prep them if you are thinking about doing it, but your
Which would
child
be for Noah.
isn't
Yeah.
of age, is just get them used to using a laptop,
Yeah.
a keyboard. I mean, it
it's good
happens,
skills anyway, isn't it?
happens naturally anyway. Noah's on Discord talking to all his boat mates, and they're using chat with the
Amazing.
keyboard, and it just it happens kind of naturally.
Yeah, and there are, online courses where you pay for a block of courses. If anyone out there maybe listening wants to know any apps we've used previously or ways we've homeschooled online before, which have helped to prep the boys for secondary online school, there's a few out there that we've used, and you can
Doodles.
Yeah, well, I can. If anyone wants to message us, I
okay.
can. I'm more than our inbox is always open if anyone's got any questions. But they've helped to prep the boys for it. So like you can do online courses where you buy them a block of lessons, but they're not like a school timetable. They're just lessons that you can put them on, but they don't have assemblies and stuff like that. So there are lots of different ways out there. But the technology is the future, online is the future. We can still live a very natural, although this isn't very natural, but usually on the boat, a very natural and adventurous existence, futuristic in our thinking.
The other thing you need is Starlink.
Yeah.
Get
Oh, you
Starlink,
definitely need Starlink.
put it on the flat, and then you can go sailing, do whatever you want, and they're like, tapped in, and you don't have to like, oh, we can't go sailing now because they're at school. I don't do that, do I?
No, we sail while they're sailing.
Josh being his lesson, you might have a glass like flying past the laptop.
Yeah, we do the
We
same.
got
I work.
Arthur in the screen here, or is it a cat?
No,
It's a cat.
I'm like,
To treat them the same way,
somebody's
though.
wanting his attention. Who is it? Is it the cat?
He's back.
Yeah, you can still sail as well, so that's always a bonus.
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll tell everybody to go and visit. I'll put some links. You can give me all the links and stuff, and then we'll put them in the description. And congratulations on sitting through your first podcast.
Yeah,
You did
thank
good.
you for being here.
Oh, you've been the star of the whole thing.
Is that your first one? Oh,
Yes,
Yeah.
actually, it is. I'm usually
First time she's worn makeup in a month as well. It's so nice.
actually today's our 10-year anniversary, so
You're kidding.
yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us on your anniversary. Like literally, go.
Oh no, we're very chill people. We went out for lunch, didn't we?
Yeah, we had a kebab, didn't we? It was
Nice.
good
We're very
kebab.
chill people. Plus, we can't really do much with childcare and stuff, so we just do everything together. Nice.
We got a brand new Honda 32i generator.
Whoa!